Have you ever had to change your plan at the last minute? Well, I've had an interesting experience recently where this happened to me, and I'm going to tell you what happened, but the way I'm going to do it is if it was a competency-based question in a job interview, so you can see the structure that I adopt. It's reasonably entertaining, so stay tuned, but only after the jingle.
If you wanna be solicitors, why don't you come and visit us at SQETV?
So how would you answer this question if it was a job interview? Well, I'm going to show you a technique that you may have come across before, but it's always a good idea to see how this technique can be utilised in an optimised way. So I'm going to demonstrate what's called STAR technique. STAR is an acronym for S meaning situation, T meaning task, A meaning action, and R standing for results and or reflection. So just going through each of those in turn, when you go through an answer to a competency question, your situation you need to outline very quickly, normally in a matter of 10 seconds or so, and then give an outline as to what the task was. In the situation you're in, what did you have to do? Or was there a particular issue that you were facing? So you need to describe that. Again, don't spend too long on that in your answer. What you need to focus on most is the A part of the answer, the A in STAR, which is action, describing what actually happened. And that's where you spend the vast majority of your time. And then finally, at the end of your answer, reflect on how it went, talk about how the results were, think about how you would do it differently next time if that's relevant. And you're going to see me do this right here, right now.
SQETV.
So have you ever had to change your plans at the last minute? We're going to show you how I answer this particular competency question. And this is what happened to me, honestly, recently at a conference. I was asked to speak at the beginning of an awards ceremony in the evening. It followed a legal education conference. The awards were for law firms and their graduate recruitment teams for the best law firm for training contracts, the most admired law firm, best firm for international secondments, and so on. And despite having a microphone, the speaker who came before me just to introduce the awards could hardly be heard. Most of the people attending had had a hard day's conferencing and wanted to let off steam with their colleagues in the profession over drinks and cannabis, which is rather understandable when you think about it. So the previous speaker had wanted to give the audience a few messages about the things she and her company was selling. I know she didn't read the room, but nobody cared. No one was interested in what they had to say. But once they'd started to deliver their inaudible but cleverly crafted marketing messages, there was nowhere to go. They couldn't stop until they'd reached the end of their pre-prepared crumpled notes. It might have only been 2 minutes to that particular speaker, but to them I'm sure it felt like 2 hours. So as I went up to the podium, I caught a look from that previous speaker as if to say, I've not exactly warmed them up, Jonny, but see if you can do any better. Like the previous speaker, I'd also prepared a few earnest words on my subject, which was the SQE and social mobility, or the lack of it for most candidates, apart from the few that secure an apprenticeship, a training contract, or a law school scholarship. But I thought to myself, you know what, Jonny? There's a time and a place to fight the fight, and this is neither the time nor the place. It's early evening, they all want to let their hair down. Read the room, Jonny. They've had enough of people talking at them all day. Do something else. Well, fortunately, I'd metaphorically ripped up my script some 10 minutes earlier when I'd actually worked out that the audience had had enough of being talked at all day. So what did I do? Well, I embarked on what I suppose was 3 to 4 minutes of more stand-up comedy by engaging with the audience in some sort of light-hearted question and answers, but still on message because I kept with the SQE theme. I told them that I'd had a dream about the SQE, and once they worked out that I wasn't going to bore them to death with more earnest messages, I managed to command their attention. And to a chorus of a few hushes, they wanted to know what my dream was. Well, I explained to them that I dreamt that there were 6 different SQE stakeholders all in the same room, and they were all given the same task to come up with something that the letters SQE stand for, which reflects their experience of the first 4 years of the SQE. The story went on that each of the stakeholders had completed their task, and I now had all of their answers in front of me. So I went through each of them in turn. So the first stakeholder who responded to my task summarised the SQE as superior, quintessential, exam. The SRA, boomed one voice from the back of the audience. Close but no cigar, I replied. Kaplan, called out another voice, to a chorus of laughs from everyone else. And so we went on through the list. Which group of stakeholders might describe the SQE as a savage, questionable experience, I asked. The poor students, came the reply from the back of the audience, which was, of course, correct. And I wasn't trying to be funny, but I do think the SQE regime is brutal, and I don't believe that any student who will ever look back at their experience will think that it was something that they have any degree of sentimentality for. It's a means to an end for most, but why does the experience have to be so damned unpleasant? Next came superficial, quick education, which was, of course, directed at the quick, cheap SQE course providers. You know, the ones who promise you the earth at ridiculously cheap prices and then don't publish their pass rates. I wonder why. And then came super quality experience, which was my satirical take at what the SRA might describe the SQE as, in terms of relabelling it in accordance with the task that they had been given in this dream. The next group that were asked to give their feedback was ones that came back with socially questionable, excluded, which was my nod to what I was originally going to talk about, the fact that EDI groups have repeatedly questioned the inclusivity or lack of it when it comes to the SQE. And finally, skills questionable emergency, which was my take on the profession's relabelling of the SQE. Lots of nodding heads and further titters from the firms who often say that the SQE alone is not enough and there are significant skill gaps even with the best candidates for training contracts. I pointed out to the audience that there was a point to all this frivolity, and it was this. There had been a lot of negative discussion about the SQE at the conference, and I acknowledged that I'm not its greatest fan. But the only way that improvement can be introduced is if all stakeholders, that's Kaplan, the SRA, course providers, the firms, EDI groups and candidates, all truly listen to and gain an understanding of each other's perspectives. And that requires all of us to work collaboratively with the SRA and the SRA to work collaboratively with us and each other. So yeah, there was a serious message there, but I had to pivot quite quickly just to get heard. So what did I learn from this? Well, remember to read the room. And sometimes you just have to tear up the script at short notice and find a quick plan B. And when I reflected on my experience, I think that the secret of putting it off was actually to be confident I knew why I had to change the plan. I had an idea and I committed to it. But above all, what gave me the confidence to pull it off was that I bounced my idea off a trusted colleague who gave me a big fat yes just before I went on to deliver what I delivered. I felt like I'd won Britain's Got Talent by the end. And to be honest, it was a lot of fun too. So what I did was to demonstrate for you STAR technique. It wouldn't be necessarily the answer I would give in a job interview, but it was more to show you the structure of how you would actually deliver an answer by just giving you an outline, setting the context in the situation and the task, but spending most of the time on the action in terms of what you actually did. And then spending a little bit of time talking about the results and reflecting on how it went. What I would say is when you're thinking about answering and planning to answer these type of competency questions, you need to think about having a bank of them and practice answering those time after time, recording yourself, getting feedback from people listening to your answers. That's the only way you'll improve how you deliver your answers and structure them.
SQETV.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us stay ahead of the algorithm and deliver these useful videos to more people. If you liked it, please do leave a message in the comment section too. And by tapping that notification bell, you'll see that our new videos are alerted to you as soon as they drop. In the meantime, as we always do, when we finish an SQETV video, we say, it's now time for the jingle.
If you wanna be solicitors, why don't you